Hello everybody, it is Tuesday the 8th of July. I want to talk about Lucifer, the fall of Lucifer. I want to talk about what has been said, that the meek shall inherit this earth. I want to think about the situation that we are in now, and that this is a situation that may have occurred in this world many times before. We're going around in circles. We keep doing the same thing over and over again until we see our mistake and work a correction that will then take us onto a different path, where our gaining of knowledge will not end up in our destruction, which it seems it continuously does that. Yeah, we become enlightened to knowledge and we promptly destroy ourselves. And I want to show how the strength of meekness, the strength that is in meekness, will save us. We need that. If we have the knowledge, we need the meekness to go with it as the restraining force. Otherwise, we will blow ourselves up. And I think that is the mistake. And that is what has continuously happened in this world. Now, I was listening to Greg Braden, watched a few of his videos that he's posting right now. Although they're old programs, he's reposting them right now. And really my hair was standing on end, listening to what he was saying. Talking about scientists, talking about math, talking about quantum physics, talking about equations, talking about the knowledge of the field, which is the knowledge of the Creator. That is the Creator. The field out of which everything is created. The field in which everything has its being, and we are not separated from it. We are a part of it. So the knowledge of that. And this whole idea that the meaning of divinity is to exceed your own limitations. And that is the way of Lucifer that will lead to a fall. And has led to a fall many times, I would say, in this world, looking at the history that we're digging up at the moment. The problem with math or physics being the only way you can show the whole truth. Yeah? Knowledge of the field means knowledge of limitless energy, limitless possibilities, because that's what the Creator is. That it is all, it is eternal, it is without boundaries, it is limitless. The energy is that. We are not. That which is created out of it has got boundaries. Yeah? Has got limitations. And it is only in this state of being something that you can know something. It is in this state that you can know what is contained in the Creator. Again, you cannot know it all. Again, that is the limitation of knowledge. You cannot know it all. but you can know something, and something is all that will ever be given. Say you have several lifetimes maybe to know as much as you can know, to find out what the Creator is, but you will never, no created part will ever know it all, because no created part is all. They are the limitations that the quantum physicists are now trying to exceed. The limitation of being, but it is only the being that knows. So the more you go away from being, or being something, the less you know. Now limitations, and limitations that math cannot see. You cannot see that in a math formula. It cannot show you that. It can show you the endlessness of the energy and the unlimited possibilities of what you can do with it. It cannot show you the limitation of love your neighbor as yourself. That is not contained. That is something physics cannot see. Because again, physics is only one part, math is only one part, and one part cannot see it all. Yeah, the limitations of love your neighbor as yourself. The limitations of existence itself, and not to destroy it, because it is the only place of knowing. The limitation of respect for other existence other than your own. Which is contained in love your neighbor as yourself. Math cannot show you that. It can show you what is possible. It cannot show you the restrictions, and the restrictions are there, and they are real. Now, as the Hermetic said, the more you go into the knowledge of all, or the knowledge of I am all, there ever was and ever will be. I am the only creator of all. Again, it is the delusion of Lucifer or Yaldabaoth. Either way. The more you go into that, the more you lose yourself. And the more you go into oblivion. You're not going into enlightenment, you're going into oblivion. Or in the first instance, you're going into insanity. That's what the Hermetic said. And I think you can see that in this world, the insanity of it all. If there were those in this world that fell from the truth of a singular being cannot be all, those that fell from the truth into insanity may well exist in what people now call the astral zone as consciousness. Yeah. So they did not manage to fry themselves completely into oblivion, which would be returning to the state of pure energy, which is a state of not knowing anything. So they did not manage to fry themselves to that point where they went out of existence altogether. But they may still exist in their insane state as consciousness, in what is now called the astral zone. So I would say no, the astral zone is not filled with wonderful enlightened beings. it's a lunatic asylum. And if people say, people, or the dark occultists, saying they connect to those beings to know the truth of expanded awareness, all possibilities. Yeah, they have that knowledge. They definitely have that knowledge, and they're fried. So to ask them of knowledge is, again, becoming as insane as they are. So it is life that shows you the boundaries of the being, and you should respect those boundaries. Yeah? It is not a case of divinity. Godliness is to go beyond that. No, beyond that is insanity. Godliness is to know your place. I am. So let's come to the meek will inherit the earth. And that is just that, knowing your boundaries. That is meekness. That those that would take meekness and say, well, you're becoming a complete doormat. You're becoming subservient to somebody else's will. You just become a slave. That is meekness, again, taken beyond the point where it is actually good. You've missed the mark. You can take meekness that far if you want to, but you have definitely missed the point, the mark where it was good. Again, you have no meekness you shoot out the other way, past the mark, into a Luciferian mindset. So let's stay on the mark, what meekness actually is. And it is just that, knowing you are not all. Seeing others around you. Seeing the creation that you are in, that you are a part of, in which creates a web of life that will sustain you, in which you can know something. And again, there is meekness, not wanting all, but taking what you are given and what you can actually take in. Know your own boundaries. How much can you actually take in? You are not all. You will fry. That is meekness. At a point where it is good. It is said in this world that God will not give you more than you can handle. Yeah? There are your own boundaries. What it is you can handle before you fry. We are all on different stages of development. Yeah? And what we know according to what we are. Now, again, naturally, you would not be given more than you can handle. And that is actually set up to save you. Yeah? Those that have gained knowledge beyond what they can handle, really, but beyond what they should have been given, are those that devised ways of getting at that knowledge and ways that are not natural. Yeah? Either through spiritual teachings, through symbolism, through working with all of those things to create the energies, to create open doors into another knowledge, or breaking down the door by excessive fasting or taking drugs. None of that is natural. So, again, they've broken down a door into a knowledge thinking they were imprisoned in this. Yeah, something is holding them back because it is imprisoning them. Something is holding you back because there is a mother, father that is holding you back to keep you safe as a small child, as we would keep our own children back because they don't know what they're doing. Yeah? That's not imprisonment, that is keeping safe. And it's done out of love. But as I said, they are willful children. They will find ways of getting their hand in a cookie jar when they shouldn't have it there. And I think all the great, what they talk about, all the great civilizations that were before, or in the great knowledge that they had, can I just point out the obvious? They are no longer here. They've all gone down, every one of them. Yeah? So everybody talking about their greatness, well, if they were great, they would still be here. If they were truly great, they would still be here. They would have life. But they don't. So, what happened there? And I would say in their deluded state of everything is possible, yeah, we can exceed our limitations, we are all there ever was and ever will be, they destroyed themselves. I think that is a fair bet, and it is something I would nearly put money on. And I'm going by what I'm seeing right now and what I'm hearing right now, because we are going to that point again. We are just about to finish another cycle that will end up in destruction, as it did before. Now, what form will that destruction take? Again, I think we can reason about that from the evidence in this world. I would say if it were to take the form of those that elevate themselves above their own truth. Yeah, it's not only the truth of this world, it's your own truth. That think they can elevate themselves above that. They will be destroyed, and if that destruction took the form of spontaneous combustion or something like that, I would say fair enough. You know, you are at free will. You choose your path, blow yourself up, fine. Yeah, that was your choice. Sadly, it doesn't usually take that form. They will take an awful lot of others with them. Now, two ways I can see in this world. Well, one way I can see in this world, and the other way is already described in the book of the Revelation. The way of the physical, which I think has happened in this world before. There's evidence in this world of atomic explosions that have happened in the past. So they literally, in the physical, blew themselves up, and others, here's the thing, others with them. Yeah, they don't go by themselves. They create an awful lot of damage around them. So, and that is the way we are conceivably going right now in our own insanity, and the blinded by the light of our own supposed greatness. We're going to blow ourselves up, blow ourselves to kingdom come. That is one way. The way of physical knowledge that will lead to destruction. The other way is described in the book of the Revelation, and I think that may have happened before, where we have civilization, ancient civilization, where there is no evidence of anything, physical that has happened there, but they're gone. And that is destroying yourself on the spiritual path. That is what is described in the book of the Revelation, where on spiritual knowledge they are opening a gate, a door, into the other reality, into the astral zone. because they have the knowledge and because they can, and they're exceeding the physical reality of this in that way. So they opened the door, and the angels came and slaughtered them. Because that's what's happening in the book of the Revelation. You're opening the door into the other reality, and the angels will come and reap the earth, and the blood will reach up to the bridles of the horses. So at the moment, I would say we are in Ghostbusters. Yeah, you have the physical way, and you've got the spiritual way, and it only seems to be a case of choose the form of your destroyer. So how can we use either knowledge, physical and spiritual, in meekness? The strength of meekness to stay within our boundaries. That is what, and then it's really is a question, is humanity actually ready for the knowledge right now? Well, those that have it most certainly are not. They are not meek. That means they are not ready to have that knowledge. In all fairness, you can talk about meekness, and you can be all self-righteous about it if you have no other possibility anyway. It's easy to talk about meekness if you're not tempted, if you do not have that other possibility. But those that gain that other possibility, that are being given the knowledge, will they have the strength to stay within the boundaries in face of all possibilities? And that is strength. And that is the strength of meekness. And it is those that are meek that will inherit the earth. That is really standing at the point where there are all possibilities, and you have the strength and the knowledge of your own limitations, and you don't exceed them. You see the effect that it will have not only on you but on others around you. And that, to me, is true enlightenment. That is wisdom. That is born out of the knowledge of yourself, the truth of yourself. You are a limited being. That is your truth. We do extend beyond the physical body, and we can work that energy. Yeah? That is also our truth. Knowing how far you can go. And really the limitation is love your neighbor as yourself. That is the boundary beyond which you should not go. Love other consciousness. Respect other consciousness. You are not the only thing here. You are not all there ever was and ever will be. There are your limitations. Your limitations are being set by all shall live. And will you respect those boundaries? And if you don't, it will lead to destruction. And that is meekness, yes. Knowing you're not the only thing here. So is humanity ready to be given an expanded state of consciousness and awareness without going into complete lunacy and destroying itself? I'm not sure that we are. As I said, at the moment, looking at the ones that obviously have the knowledge, they most certainly are not. They're going the way of Lucifer. And they will take an awful lot of others with them. and they will create a reset where we might be blown back into the Stone Age, the rest of us, those that remain, to start all over again. So what do we do? I mean, what is those that don't know, yeah? Those that can talk about meekness because they don't have the other knowledge anyway. What can we do? First of all, I think we should restrain the lunatics. We absolutely need to restrain the lunatics. We need to get some kind of reason back into their head because they are void of reason. Reason restrains. Again, it's part of wisdom. And they are increasingly void of that. We need to bring them back to earth for their own sake and for all our sake. And then, well, I don't know if the knowledge is poured out on all, then some of us should be prepared. And the preparedness is strength of self. They should stand in the knowledge of their own truth, that they are not all. And that is the only way you can use that knowledge without being destructive. Meekness. Right. Folks, I think I leave it at that for today. And I talk to you again soon. Bye.